Welcome to another season of Saugerties Stallions baseball. Dan Chalm joined with you alongside Henry Hipschman. Henry, it's a beautiful season. We're back here at Eastfield as the Stallions face the Dragons in the opener. There's just a sense of positivity in the air with this season starting. Stallions with such a successful campaign last year, 29 wins on the year, and looking to start that here tonight against the Dragons.
Certainly they are. We have a beautiful evening. The weather is perfect, and the Stallions are looking ready for this opening game of the season.
Yeah, and we look back a little bit at that last season, 29-12-2, the regular season record. That was the most wins in program history, and that is something that is pretty special for this squad. There were players like Andrew Amato on this team, Eddie Yaman and others from these big schools, SECs, and now the Stallions looking to get through, though, to the extra mile. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, but got knocked out, looking to get back to that point and get to the championship this year. And on the other side, the Dragons struggled 8-30-2 last year.
This is the perfect game for the Stallions to open the season. The Dragons were not much competition for them last year, 11-0 during the season, and now they're a chance to open the season and get back on track to where they were last year.
That should be an interesting one here tonight from Glens Falls, and I just want to talk a little bit more about that last season. Saugerties had so many players on this team, and Henry, they only have 9 players who are able to hit tonight. I mean, that is definitely some low numbers, but there is a guy in there who is an impact player, and that's Justin Ford from Seton Hall.
Yeah, Justin Ford, he was third in the division RBIs last year with 31. He's definitely a big asset for this team. They have a couple other guys returning on the roster for this game as well. And though the roster is small right now, it will be getting bigger throughout the season, the next couple days especially. We have players at the end of their college regular seasons who are going to join the team later. So it shouldn't be too big of a problem for them down the line, but right now it is something to look out for.
Not a problem at all, and Justin Ford played so well last season. We go to the other side, to the Dragons, and this is a team that really struggled to get going, but they do have a couple of players back, and that including their 10-hole hitter here tonight.
Yes, Travis Coe, he is one of the more impressive players on this roster. He's a big fella outfielder, and Stro, 5'10", only 162 pounds, but during his college regular season, 48 games started and 50 games played for Fairleigh Dickinson. He's got a good swing, batting around 250, and should be a good asset for this team on the offensive side.
Before we came up here to Glens Falls tonight, our sideline reporter, Hannah Tampasis, caught up with our interim head coach.
My name's Hannah Tampasis, and alongside me I have interim head coach Ron Kelder. Coach Kelder, how long have you been with the Stallions?
Like 8-9 years, just throwing BP and things like that, not as official coach. First year was the year we won the championship with Coach Doobie taking over for Colin when he was sick.
What's it like being back for the Stallions, and what are you looking forward to this season?
I mean, being back here, just being around this facility and being around the people in Saugerties, I mean, it's exciting. It's a lot of work, but it's fun to be here with the college kids and enjoy our time here.
The last regular season game was against Glens Falls, where the Stallions came on top 7-1. What is the mindset going into this game to hopefully come out on top again?
Well, it's always score more runs than the other team, but I mean, basically go out there, throw strikes, put the ball in play, and just play a solid defensive and execute offensively, and just play a good baseball game.
Absolutely. And with limited time practicing with each other because everyone's been with their own college team and finishing out their seasons, how have you guys built up chemistry and prepared as a team to step onto the field today?
Well, we all have our own personalities as coaches. We probably all loosen up a little bit in the summertime, probably talk to kids a little differently and have a little more fun with them and try to motivate them in some different ways than you would motivate a typical player on your own team. But these guys, they come in here. We try to talk to them about, hey, just come, respect yourself, respect your community, respect the people around you, respect the people that do everything for you. They had a great meal before we even get on the road today, that kind of thing. Everything's taken care of. The field, Greg Jarvis and his staff do a tremendous job here. It's the nicest facility and the nicest complex you're going to play on. And just tell them to respect it and enjoy their time here.
Absolutely. And Coach Colin isn't here today as he made it to the JUCO finals with his college team. What is it like stepping into the head coach position while he's not here?
It's not easy. He's the staple of this program. He's done everything to build what we have here, where we can be successful every year and compete every year. He's from a great, his father was a professional coach and everything, and he's been around the professional game so much and understands the game. I've been coaching for 40 years at the high school and all kinds of levels, and every year and every day I learn a little something from him. So it's just special knowing that he's coming back and I don't have to do this anymore, and I can just kind of lay back and let him take the reins, and we're tread water into him and Norgid here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and good luck this season.
And Henry, I think it's a little bit funny that Coach Colin Martin isn't even here. He's still down at Weber right now, finishing things up after they made the JUCO championships, but he'll be up here in a little bit.
Yes, he will be. He couldn't be here because he was with his regular season team, but they do have assistant coach Ron Kelder taking over the reins, and he had some important keys to the game. He said, have fun, and let's play some Stallions baseball.
Excited, ready to get going with you, partner, here for this 2025 season. First pitch of Stallions baseball in the summer of 2025 coming your way after this.
Where is he? Hello.
He's right here in the black jersey.
Getting ready for Stallions baseball here on the Stallions YouTube Network. Dan Chown with you alongside Henry Hipschman. And Henry, we've finally gotten to the point that everyone's been waiting for all off season after that loss in Amsterdam. The Stallions are back, and this is their road lineup here tonight. They only have 9 hitters because there's still a lot of players coming back from JUCO ball. This is what it looks like. Luis Rodriguez leads off in center field. He batted over 300 this season. Justin Ford, the veteran on this squad, in the 2-hole. Nick Crossie at short. Travis Hoppenstein and right field. Then it's Caden Comiskey at third. Jack Painter over at first. Logan Sanchez doing the DH, and Gabe Cavazzoni at second. Sam Blanco behind the dish. And Derek Constance on the mound. On the other side of things, it's Tyler Neller on the bump for the Glens Falls Dragons.
Yes, and again, a name to look at is Justin Ford in the 2-hole. Played with the Stallions last year, 37 games played, .355 batting average. A great bat to have in that position, and definitely someone who can maybe bring in an early run for this team. Again, we know Glens Falls Dragons has struggled most of the last season. It's going to be interesting to see how they start this game early on against the Stallions team that, they just couldn't get the best of last year.
Yeah, this is a Dragons team that just simply failed to score runs a lot of the time last year. It's hard for them to just get going, and it just felt like a talent difference between these two sides last season. And who knows what this year has in store, but if you go past the past history, the Dragons only won 8 games last year, 6 at home, and that's not great.
I mean, you're saying the runs is a problem for the team. Against the Stallions alone, they were outscored 98-29. So can they get their bats going? That's going to be the biggest question. And if they can play good defense against the Stallions and stay in this game, perhaps they have a chance here on opening day.
This is a Dragons team that sported an 8.25 ERA last season. That ranks 16th, worst in the entire league. So they were just getting abused straight up on the hitting side of things. Going to be interesting to see how the Stallions match up. They batted around .275 last season, which ranked second in the entire PGCBL. And they don't have the same firepower as of right now. Still 15 players on the way for this team. Going to be interesting to see how they can do it with a short lineup. Again, like we told you, the 9 guys in the lineup are the only 9 hitters, so someone better not go down.
They're without their usual head coach. They're without a lot of players that they're going to probably rely on later in the season. But this may help define this team's attitude here early. These guys who are able to be here, these guys who are able to help the team as first pitch is about to start, can they step up in the absence of their teammates?
So Luis Rodriguez steps in for the first pitch of Stallions baseball here in 2025. We are underway. It's a first pitch ball at the top of the zone. And Rodriguez from Marist batted over 300 last season. That's second best on the entire squad for the Red Foxes, but is now in the portal and is looking for a new home for next season.
And I don't blame him, batting .305, 3 home runs, 27 RBIs, and then what I thought was really impressive, 15 stolen bases. He got some speed, and teams are looking for speed more now than they ever did before. So the fact that he's in the portal is no big surprise, but where he goes will be something to see.
It's a 1-1 count. That one right down the middle for a strike, too. Rodriguez, not a big fan of that call. Stallions dominated here at Eastfield last season. A perfect 5-0 for them. Never lost. Mercied multiple times. Actually, the last game of the regular season for both these teams was here at Eastfield, a 7-1 Stallions win. That one's fouled off to the right side. Count stays at 1-2.
Rodriguez just a little bit late on that pitch. I thought that was the pitch. From this angle, looked like a bit of a slower pitch, looked like a changeup, and Rodriguez just got to jump on that a little bit earlier.
1-2 count. Nobody out, no score here in the top of the first. The pitch. Down low at the knees, and the count gets knotted at 2s.
Rodriguez not the biggest player in stature, only 5'10", 170 pounds, smaller strike zone, so something that Neller is going to have to navigate with this leadoff batter.
It's a 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Lined into right center field. That one's going to drop. First hitter of the year for the Stallions. Has the first base hit of the year for Saugerties. There's a man on with nobody out here in the top of the first.
And this is where we enter the danger zone with Ford stepping up to the plate. Letting that leadoff batter get a hit is just something you cannot do if you're the Dragons after how they performed against this team last year.
And that was just pure contact right there. Not trying to do too much from Rodriguez. Makes sense why he was a 300-plus hitter this season.
It looked like he even pulled back on his swing a little bit, didn't let the full power fly, so maybe we'll see a little more something later.
Justin Ford at the dish. Played for this squad last season. He'll take a first pitch strike, and he was on a tear. Actually ended up making the PGCBL first team with the Stallions. Ended up batting .355. He was an absolute monster for this team.
And the way he stands at the plate, you can just tell he's a big hitter, that very upright positioning. Could we see a big hit right here? Well, a bit low of a pitch.
Rodriguez rung up over at first, and they got him. Seemed like he committed to go to second, pulled it back, and a nice defensive play by the Dragons has them their first out of this 2025 PGCBL season.
And that's just a mental error by Rodriguez. Got a little too greedy, got a little too far off the bag, and they caught him sleeping.
And we know that Jones behind the dish is not afraid to throw down to first. So with one out and a 1-1 count, Ford still at the dish. That one misses just outside, 2-1. We talk a little bit more about Justin Ford. Batted .175 this year at Seton Hall, so had a little bit of a down season, but has shown flashes of brilliance. And Henry, I don't even know if you knew this. This is a guy that batted over 600 in high school. So we know the potential's there, and he showed it last season. Who knows what's going to happen this year? He has a 3-1 count here with one out in the top of the first.
I think the cool thing about these collegiate summer leagues is everyone's a really good performer in high school, but batting 600, that's special.
Chops this one over to short. Throw to first, almost in time, but Bowler was pulled off the bag at first. That one's going to go down as an E6, so Ford reaches, and there's a man on with one out here in the top of the first.
And that's the first error on the Dragons' part. You know, we saw the Stallions make a mistake with Rodriguez leading off a little too far, and that can be blamed a little bit on the fact that this team hasn't practiced a lot together yet. They only met up as a team, I think, 2 days ago. So that's how you can account for that. And the same thing there, communication, that's just something that develops with time, a couple weeks playing together.
Nick Croce at the dish. One on, one out. Here in the top of the first, Croce, a guy who batted .228 at Chipola College this past season. 26 RBIs is the number that you want to look at with Croce. There's a man on first. Ford does have some speed. If he gets into scoring position, could be a nice opportunity here to drive in a run. That one's in there for a strike. It's 1-1.
Definitely dangerous batter, but he also had 35 strikeouts at Chipola. That's in 101 at-bats. So perhaps a chink in the armor for this Stallions team that the Dragons can take advantage of.
2-1 count, one out. First game of the year for both of these sides, a 44-game campaign in the PGCBL starting tonight here at East Field. 2-1. Ford goes over to second. The throw down was in time, but it's bobbled over there by Carpiers, so Ford will take second.
And I think the Dragons had an opportunity to pick him off there. I think Ford got a late jump. We don't know how long ago they established what the signals for stealing was. Again, this team just meeting each other, just getting used to working with each other. The head coach isn't here yet. And another missed opportunity for the Dragons.
Well, what I will say is a 3-1 hitters count here for Croce. Those 26 RBIs on the year definitely come into play now. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, a big cut there, and the count goes full.
I like that, a hard cut. You're ahead in the count, taking a chance, but now you got to play it a little more safe and play it smart.
Full count, one out, top of the first. Ford over at second. Here's the pitch. Rung up on the outside corner. Croce didn't agree with it. He thought he was going to get first base, but there's now two out here in this top of the first.
That's a big strikeout for the Dragons. Whether the Stallions can bring in this runner on second, whether they can bring in Ford and capitalize on an error, though, that could be big, especially for this squad that is so shallow.
Travis Haben-Seifkin steps in. This is a guy who played for the Stallions in 2023, batted .250, and had an absolute monster season at Johnson University this past year, batting .387 with 52 RBIs. I mean, Henry, that's video game numbers right there.
That is video game numbers, and it's not surprising seeing a guy of his size. He looks like he's got the power, and this is a dangerous at-bat. I'm not surprised he's batting in the 4-hole.
1-0 count. Fouled off to the right side. Count goes to 1-1.
I gotta say, something I'm a little nervous about is a foul ball straight back. I don't think we have a baseball glove with us. We're a little unprotected back
here. I played
here.
some baseball in high school. I think I would be able to manage a catch on a foul ball.
Hey, my middle school numbers weren't too bad.
One game I had 13 strikeouts and stole home plate to win the game. So there's that. Ford leaves off second. 1-1 count.
You struck out 13 times?
No. I struck the others out 13 times, although you would have probably wanted me to have stricken out 13 times. That'd probably be the longest baseball game in history if I did that.
I think I had maybe one outing on the mound when I was in 5th grade. Let up a couple runs, but, my second base skills, not too bad up until my 8th grade year.
We'll keep you out on the diamond and not on the mound. Haben Seifkin takes the ball. 2-2 count. Twos all over the board. 2-2, 2 outs here in the top of the first. Ford over at second after he reached on the E6, stole second base. Neller comes set. Now deals. This one chopped to the third base side. That will go foul. And the count will stay at 2-2. A big thing for the Stallions last season was that they could win at home so easily. 20-4 record when at Cantine Field, but on the road, 9-8-2. That's definitely something that they want to improve upon this season.
And that's something they're going to have the opportunity to do early. They're away tonight. They're away tomorrow. They don't have their home opener until Sunday. So a good chance to get a look at how they play in opposing stadiums.
That matchup being Amsterdam tomorrow, and we know how fierce that rivalry is. We'll have a 6:45 start for that one. Pregame at 6:30. This one's lined to the left side. That one is going to be just foul. And that would have scored the Stallions' first run of the season.
That was a beautiful hit. Bit too early. Landed left of that foul line. But another chance here for Haben Seifkin to get back in the batter's box and take another swing at it.
This is a guy who had an over 1,000 OPS this past season. Just not a guy that you want to face in this situation. 2-2, 2 outs, top of the first. Ford over at second.
In 2024, he was only batting .264.
Neller deals. That one low at the knees, and the count goes full.
I think the crowd wanted the strikeout on that one. You could hear the groans across the stadium.
A nice crowd here at Eastfield for the Dragons opener. This ballpark seats 2,500. I would say there's about 500 in attendance here tonight. The 3-2. Blooped over to right field. This one is going to be caught over there by Biller. A nice athletic play. And the Dragons put up a 0 in their first defensive top of the first of the entire season. Stallions with nothing on the board, 1 hit, 1 error. We head to the bottom of the first. No score here from Eastfield. Bottom of the first here from Eastfield. Stallions and Dragons level at 0-0. And in that top of the first, Henry, we saw some flashes of offense, but now it's time for the Stallions to play some defense. They've got Derek Constance on the mound, and he was with them last season.
Yes, he was, and interesting pitcher, I think, to start the season, I kind of thought they were going to go with Jace Van Valkenburg with how he played last year. He was 4-0, 3.42 ERA. But I understand wanting to get a look at all your pitchers. Derek Constance, not a bad year last year, 1-1, a 3.3 ERA. Definitely respectable numbers, 12 strikeouts. He only had one start last season, so I think it's going to be interesting to see how he plays when they give him the opportunity right out of the gate.
Cody Meyer will be the batter that Constance has to face first as we look quickly at this Dragons lineup. And it's a redone lineup from last season. 3 Hofstra guys right in the middle for you. You got Nick Galileo, Michael Sweeney, and Aiden Gallagher all sitting there. A couple of those guys batting above 220. Constance's first pitch misses down low for ball 1. And you look at Cody Meyer, he did play with this Dragons team last season, batted 275, but he stuck around the 8-hole, 9-hole. Now bumps up to the top of the lineup, and he wants to show off his skills. College this season, batted 297 with 19 RBIs, so definitely a guy that can provide an early spark for this Dragons team.
I'm not surprised they moved Meyer to this position. 5 home runs last year as well. He also knows how to draw walks. He had 11 walks, only 16 strikeouts, and 64 at-bats, so I think this is a good decision to lead off this team.
Constance was a rising freshman last season for the Stallions, ended up going to Stony Brook, did not play with the Seawolves this season, but is back with Socrates for another summer of baseball. That one's in there for a strike off the bat of Meyer, and now Constance has Meyer on the ropes. It's 2-2.
This has to be a little difficult for Constance not appearing this past season in college, kind of his first real stint on the mound this year, and so far he looks to be doing pretty good as he just struck out Meyer.
Starts off his 2025 campaign with a K. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. That's something we saw from this Stallions staff last season. They sported a 3.62 ERA, and that ranks second best in the entire PGCBL, just behind the Amsterdam Mohawks. So this is a squad that knows how to pitch in the clutch, and they did have a lot of big arms from Mississippi State, TCU, some of those southern schools. But guys like Constance stepped into key roles for this team when they needed it. That's a first pitch ball. 1 out here in the bottom of the first, as Gino Savoca at the dish for the Dragons.
As explosive as this offense can be, you can't be a championship team without good pitching. You can't face teams like Amsterdam without good pitching. So it starts with the mound, and so far, Constance, he's only 1 batter in, but a good showing.
Savoca did not play at the College of Charleston this past season in his freshman year, but in high school was one of the most highly touted recruits in the entire state, ranked 24th player in New York, 4th shortstop in New York in his graduating class. So definitely a guy with pop and defense, but another one similar to some of the Stallions and like Constance on the mound who didn't get to see a lot of action this college season.
And it's a difficult batter he's dealing with right here with Savoca because this Dragons roster is not too big, a lot of small strike zones today, so his location really has to be precise as he goes to a full count.
First full count of the night for Constance. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. The pitch. Misses upstairs, nearly caught a little bit of Savoca. He works himself a walk after the strikeout from Meyer. So 1 on with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Very similar to what the Stallions had in the bottom of the first, or in the top of the first, with Justin Ford on first, who eventually got over to second.
Constance looked like he was trying to go for that kill stroke right there. Fastball just too far inside, ends up walking Savoca, and now he sends up the next batter.
Joe Carpiers, the shortstop, next up for the Dragons. Takes a first pitch breaking ball upstairs for ball 1. And you look at Carpiers, a rising senior, played at Xavier this past season, and he's a guy who batted 286. So another guy who has pop, and for this Dragons team, just looking up and down the roster, it's much more well-rounded than it was last year, and the numbers are backing things up for this team. At least in my opinion, I think they're going to be much more competitive than they were last year when they only had 8 wins.
I mean, so far through 2.5 batters, 3 batters, they have looked competitive. They've been patient at the plate. They've been looking for their pitch. Thing about Carpiers, though, he's another guy who's kind of untested. Yes, he batted .286, but he's only 2 for 7, had 2 RBIs. He didn't start any games at Xavier, 11 games played. So it's a game like this, these collegiate summer league games, that give them a real opportunity to grow as batters and as players.
Heading over to second is Savoca, and he's nabbed. What a throw down right there by Blanco. And Blanco, a guy who also didn't play in his college season this past year, making an impact in his first throw down this season.
Savoca got a good jump off of that bag. He's got speed, but that was a great throw by Blanco, on time, on target, and a great out.
This one's fouled off behind the plate. So now with 2 outs, Carpiers still fighting, but in a little bit of a hole without the runner at first. It's a 3-1 count.
Constance can definitely breathe a little bit easier, but he's got to start throwing strikes against this batter.
This one's lined over to short. Throw to first by Croce is in time, and the Stallions put up a 0 in their first defensive half inning of the season. After 1 here at Eastfield, no score. We head to the second. Stallions coming to bat with their 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up. Back for the summer. It was a long 9 months without it.
It was a long 9 months, and I think we're all happy to be back watching some summer baseball, especially on a beautiful day like this, and who could ask for a better environment?
Casey Comiskey to the dish, one of 3 Seton Hall players in this starting lineup here tonight. Justin Ford being the one that led off, and then Gabe Cavazzoni at the bottom of the lineup. He's in the 8 hole, being the other. Takes a first pitch ball, it's 1-0. That one misses down low. And we just talk about Neller's top half of the first. Worked pretty efficiently. His defense hurt him a little bit with that E6 to Justin Ford, but otherwise, a fairly clean inning from him.
Very clean inning from him. And I think we have to talk about that catch over at first base, over the head of first baseman Cameron Biller. That's not an easy play to make, but he helps out his pitcher, helps out his team, and saved a run from coming in. Or saved a bat from continuing in. Potential run coming in.
4-pitch walk to start off this top half of the second to Casey Comiskey. It'll bring up Jack Painter. Painter over at first. Another guy who didn't play this past season at Wofford. But in high school, similar to Justin Ford, had monster numbers, had a .371 average as a junior with 33 RBIs. Runner at first, nobody out here in the top half of the second. That one misses on the outside corner. That's now 5 straight balls for Neller.
That is 5 straight balls for Neller, and looks like he's having a little trouble now. Just walked the last batter. Needs to find a strike to kind of get his pitches back to where he wants them.
That one's tipped off the bat of Painter. Count will be 1-1. Stallions dominated here at Glens Falls in the regular season last year. Perfect 5-0. Glens Falls did not make the playoffs. 6 teams from the East made it. The Dragons were 8-30-1 and finished 25 games back of the Amsterdam Mohawks. Just to put into perspective how much of a disaster that season was last year for the Dragons. It was their worst record in franchise history, but they've added some new players, and just based off the stats already, seems like things are up. That one misses down low. It's a 2-1 count here to Painter.
Best way to overcome a bad season like that is take things one thing at a time, one game at a time, one inning at a time, one pitch at a time. You can't think back to that last season as a whole. You just got to think, what can I do personally to improve myself as a player? What can my team do better as we work together and start a new season?
And that's the best thing about a new season, right? Everyone's record is 0-0. It's a clean slate, 0-0-0 with the PGCBL having ties, actually, as this one's lined through the hole between third and short. Going over to third, hesitating there, was Comiskey. He will stay at second. Now first and second for the Stallions, nobody out, with Logan Sanchez coming to the dish, the designated hitter.
That was some nice contact from Painter. No chance over there to make that play at short, just lined out into left. And Painter's an athlete. You know, both his parents played sports in college. His mom, a 3-sport athlete, field hockey, ice hockey, and softball. His dad played a year of basketball. Not surprised he was able to get on base.
Sanchez at the dish, runners at first and second, nobody out here in the top half of the second. Second runner in scoring position for the Stallions in this game, that being Comiskey over at second base. Looking to Sanchez, 286 on the year over in north central Texas. And Henry, that might ring a bell for you. I know you're a Texas guy. Me personally, never traveled down to the Lone Star State. Want to get there one day, but bring in some of that Texas power. Maybe everything's bigger here in Saugerties this year.
The bats are definitely a little bigger in Texas, but I would not recommend going down there right now. I think they're in the hundreds, so I'm a little glad I'm back home.
I'm even hot every day here in Saugerties with it being 75 degrees. The 1-1 misses down low. A nice scoop right there from Jones. He's been excellent behind the dish so far for the Dragons, already nabbing one Stallion stealing.
Both catchers have been great for both teams, and the catcher is kind of like that captain of the defense. They can see the whole field. They have a command over the whole field. They have a relationship with the pitcher that only they have and no one else has. So to have someone solid behind the plate there, it's the foundation of any defense.
Chop to the left side, foul. Count goes to 2-2. Stallions with 2 hits on the board, 1 walk so far. Glens Falls, no hits, 1 error. That's how Justin Ford reached base in the top half of the first. Neller comes set. Here's the 2-2. Chop to the left side. That one's going to be foul once again. Count stays knotted at 2.
Looked like Neller chose to go with the changeup. Caught Sanchez off guard. Was just too early and too far on top of that ball. Just a chopper to the left side.
Stallions team loves to hit. Batted .275 last season, and they have a couple of guys from last year's squad on this year's team. A couple of guys from a couple years ago as well on this team as well. Head coach Colin Martin not with the squad just yet. He being the full-time head coach at Weber International, who made the JUCO championships out in Idaho. So he's still coming off that. That one's lined down the right side. Coming home to score is Comiskey. Going over to third is Painter, and the Stallions take an early 1-0 lead here at East Field.
And I think the biggest thing to notice is there's still no outs on the board. They have 2 runners on the corners. They're up a run, and the Dragons still are just not able to send them back to the dugout.
And that, too, another example similar to what we saw from Luis Rodriguez, the leadoff man. Just solid contact, not trying to do too much right there from Sanchez. He just puts that one into right field and brings home the run. Another guy as well who had 14 RBIs on the year and gets his first here in the PGCBL in the summer of 2025.
We're seeing very methodical baseball. We're not seeing really big hits. We're not seeing doubles, triples, and home runs, but we're seeing single after single, and eventually that's going to add up. That'll send runners home too. And so if they just keep connecting like this, there's no telling how high this score can get, even to 5, 6, 7 runs, even if they don't come up with the big hits, the glamorous hits.
Gabe Cavazzoni at the dish. Another Seton Hall guy, 1 of 3 like we mentioned before. Batted .167 with the Pirates this year. Smacks one into right field, right into the glove of Meyer. Tagging home is Painter. There'll be no play, and the Stallions are up 2-0.
Well, at least they got an out on the board, not the way you want to do it. But this Stallions offense, slow first inning, really good second inning.
And this is a team that's been known for power. The Ethan Conrads of the world, Andrew Amato have been on this team before. They know how to light up the scoreboard and are doing so early on here at East Field. The 9-hole hitter, Sam Blanco, comes to the dish. Blanco had a beautiful defensive play in the bottom half of the first, nabbing a dragon steal in second.
You read my mind. I was going to say we saw his defensive potential. Now let's see his offensive potential.
Stallions taking a 2-0 lead here in the top half of the second. 2-0. Fouled off to the right side, counts 2-1. And it's going to be interesting to see, Henry, as this team starts to fill out and Luis go on here in the summer season, who stays in the starting lineup, who kind of gets less time, how that all comes together. And we know that head coach Colin Martin is very methodical about how he puts up the lineup and likes to put guys in there who have been earning their spot. But as of right now, I mean, you can't be asking much more early on from this starting 9 as this one's lined up the middle. And the Stallions, once again, have 2 runners on here in the top of the second.
I think the great thing to see from the Stallions team, it's the bottom of the order that's getting all these hits and getting all these runs. We saw the 1 through 4 hitters struggle a little bit, and of course that was only one at bat. We'll see how they do when they come back. But to know that the bottom end of your lineup can do this, it's a great sign for this team.
And the lineup flips right over. Luis Rodriguez back at the dish for the second time tonight. Singled and then was caught stealing in the top half of the first. Tries to lay down the bunt. And we know him to be speedy, as that one's called for a strike, as he did try and steal, got a bad jump there, and then was just kind of rung up in between first and second.
Like I said earlier, I believe it was, 15 stolen bases for Rodriguez. So if he lays down the right bunt, gets off to a good jump, could easily hit first and be safe.
And Rodriguez, a guy who knows how to play in upstate New York, was with Marist this past season, knows the MAC conference, has been in these parts before, and the Stallions are hoping that he can be a true prototypical leadoff guy and give this team a spark. He did so in the top of the first. The 1-1. Right down the middle for strike 2. Saugerties taking a 2-0 lead here in the top half of the second. 4 hits on the board so far.
I'd love to see Rodriguez. I know a bunt would be a smart play. Not here, obviously. I'm saying earlier, but I know the bunt was a smart play, but I want to see him swing that bat. I want to see him show off that 300 batting average that he had at Marist. And I know we keep touching on his speed. He runs a 6.2 60-yard dash. That's pretty fast, folks.
What do you think my 60 time would be? Do you think I could get in the below 7? Do you think I could get to the 7s? Or do you think I'm more like 8, 9?
I think someone will look at it and think it's a mile time.
That's disappointing.
Me, on the other hand.
Maybe we'll have to do that one time. Maybe I'll race Lewis and see who can win in a race. I think my odds would be pretty high. Probably at least plus 1,000 would be my guess.
I think a special edition pregame show, a game in the future, would be fun to see you go against a couple of the Stallions.
I certainly wouldn't mind that. 2-2 is popped up to the right side. Another running play, but this time Biller can't make it. He had one earlier that was spectacular to end off the top half of the first, but can't get there this time.
I mean, that's a difficult play, but Biller, a great jump from where he was standing, slid in there. A little dangerous, too. Risk going into his own players, his own dugout.
2-2 count. 2 men on. 2 runs on the board here in the top half of the second. Neller deals. Fouled off once again. Rodriguez putting up a fight here in his second at-bat of the ballgame.
And you just know he wants another shot at running the bases after getting picked off in the top of that first inning and taking away a potential run from this team. So, got to imagine he's really, really motivated to make a lot of this at-bat.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Neller gets him for the K. Second of the day for Tyler Neller, and there's now 2 outs here in the top of the second.
Pitch looked a bit high, what we might call eye candy. Saw it right at eye level and just took a chop at it.
Justin Ford to the dish for the second time today. Reached on an E6 in the top half of the first. Lines this one into right field. Meyer's going to play it on a hop. Coming around third is Sanchez. He will stay there, though, and the bases are now loaded here in the top half of the second for Nick Croce.
Justin Ford was all business the second he stepped into that batter's box. First pitch, swings, knocks it out into right field, and just like that, bases loaded.
Croce, 26 RBIs this season at Chipola College. Went down looking in his first at-bat. That was a 3-2 count. 2 out, top half of the second. Stallions already have 2 across. That one misses outside for ball 1. We see no movement over there in the Dragons bullpen. They're going to let Neller get out of this one any way possible.
With 2 outs, play to any base, I can understand the decision. You want to see what your pitcher is made of, if he can come out of these bad situations, see how he'll handle this stuff later on in the year. You're only down 2 runs, but another hit here. I think you got to start warming up another arm.
And we speak of maybe some warm-up happening in the Dragons bullpen. We see a mound visit here just to settle Neller down a little bit.
These mound visits are important. Give your pitcher a little time. Of course, you don't have to take him out on this first mound visit, but just let him reassess, talk to him, let him know, listen, hey, you got good stuff. You're a good pitcher. You deserve to be here. You deserve to be on that bump. Now just show us what you're made of. You have 2 outs. Finish this.
And the biggest thing, too, difference, I would say, between the minor leagues and minor leagues, majors compared to college and summer ball, no pitch clock. So it's not like Neller has to speed up here or can't get a second to breathe. The game's at his pace.
Definitely a little more pitcher-friendly at this level.
That one misses outside, so it's a 3-0 count. Here to Croce. You think any chance they let him swing it here? First game of the season, bases loaded.
I think you have to swing if you're Croce, unless it's, blatantly terrible pitch outside the box. But
well, he does not. That one was a blatantly terrible pitch outside the box. Sanchez will walk his way home. That'll be an RBI for Croce, and the Stallions are up 3-0.
And that's just not the way you want to give up a run, allow bases loaded, and then walk the next batter. That's a difficult situation for Neller, obviously. You don't want to give up too much, but cannot give a walk there.
Haman Seifkin to the dish. In his first at-bat, popped up over to first, where Biller made that magical play. He'll take a first pitch ball at the knees. And like we mentioned before, another guy who played with the Stallions 2 summers ago in 2023 was teammates with Andrew Amato, Ethan Conrad, all those guys. I actually talked to Andrew Amato before this game, and he said this guy is an absolute stud who can crush the baseball. So we'll be waiting to see that. And Henry, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit intimidated. His frame up there, you would expect him to be able to smack it.
I think we're like 100 feet away from him, and he looks looks big from here.
Stallions one batter away from batting around here in this top half of the second. They played at 3. That one's to the right side, foul.
Speaking on his size, he's 6'3". He's 195 pounds. He could put on another 10 pounds of muscle, really get some power, too, in the future. So a lot of potential with a batter like Haman Seifkin.
And he's from California as well, making the long journey over here to Saugerties. I talked to him before the game, and he said he absolutely loves it out here. And what's not to love in Saugerties, but he's ready for another season and is excited to be back with this squad. He'll take a strike at the top of the zone, and the count goes to 2-2.
Well, I definitely think we have the better beaches out here on the East Coast. Maybe you have to go down to New Jersey a little bit, but I might be a little biased. I am a New Jersey native myself.
Jersey Shore before. Maybe I'll have to take a trip down there soon. 2-2, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses upstairs, and the count goes full. Runners will be released on this pitch. Stallions have already played 3. 4 hits here in this top half of the second. Neller looking to get out and limit the damage. Here's the pitch. Misses down low. That's back-to-back batters now that have walked home a run for Saugerties, and they're up 4-0.
We've gone through the lineup now. He's now walked 2 batters to give up 2 runs. I think we're going to see a bullpen warm-up, maybe another mound visit soon.
So Comiskey will come to the dish for the second time in this inning. He started this whole rally with a walk and eventually came around to score. Takes the first pitch outside, and you can just see it right now. Neller is struggling to find the strike zone.
It's a difficult situation. Either he's kind of lost it a little bit to find that location, or it's a scary situation to attack and risk giving up a big run with bases loaded.
It might be out here. Stops the bleeding for now with the pop out over to first. Comiskey gets his second at-bat of the inning, pops out to first. That's how the top of half of the second is going to end. Stallions plate 4, and they take the lead heading into the bottom half of the second. We'll be right back.
As stated before, the Saugerty Stallions only have 9 runners as the rest of the collegiate players finish out the rest of their season. On the other hand, the Glens Falls Dragons sure have a full dugout. With that, when Rodriguez got off when he left the base a little early, the dugout began to fire up and their excitement went through the roof. While they did close out the top of the first inning with no runs and we went to the second, Derek Constant started as the pitcher. He is a returning player for the Stallions, but this is only his second start for his whole career with the Stallions. While we started off strong but eventually got a little rattled, with the coach's encouragement, we were able to close out the first inning with 0 runs. Now we just finished the top of the second with 4 runs from the Stallions, and we're going on to our defense, so we will see how the rest of the game goes. Back to you guys.
Hannah, thanks so much. And we look ahead, Henry, at the opening week here for the Stallions. Start on the road here in Glens Falls. Take a trip to Amsterdam tomorrow night. That is 6:45 start, and we'll have the pregame at 6:30. Before the home opener on Sunday night to the Oneonta Outlaws for this squad. An interesting start. Last year they started on the road, but the first 6 games as well going on the road as the Stallions will travel up to Mohawk Valley and Boonville within the first 6 games of the season.
It's always difficult to start your year on the road. Of course, you want to be at home. You want to be around fans. It's a friendly environment. But, again, it's a big test for them for a team that struggled on the road.
And that ball is thrown away right there. A bad defensive play between Constance and Painter over at first. Biller will reach on the error. And now there's a runner on for the Dragons. They had a runner on in the bottom half of the first as well, but nothing ended up coming of it.
Just a problem with communication. That's got to be a routine out. You're feeling like you have a lot of energy built up first game. You're only a couple of innings in. Just a mistake you don't want to let happen again.
And with the ball going out of play, Biller will get second base for free on the dead ball. So now, time for the Stallions to play some defense, and the first time that Constance has been in some hot water in this game. Coming to the dish, hoping to bring him home, is Nick Galileo. Now Galileo, the Hofstra product, batted over 300 this past season with the Pride, and is 1 of 3. Lines this one into center field, and they are going to send him home. Biller coming, throws on line, and they nab him at home. What a play out there in center field by Rodriguez.
That is an amazing throw from deep. I thought Biller had home plate clear and easy, but out of nowhere, that throw comes in. The tag is made by Blanco. Just really good location. This team making up for their mistakes. They already caught one runner stealing, and now they're catching a runner at home. Really good showing defensively for the Stallions so far.
That'll go down as a single for Galileo. He advances to second on the throw home. But we talk about the offense of the Stallions so much, but their defense has come up clutch so far with that throw by Blanco, and now that absolute missile by Rodriguez from center field.
And there's no better feeling as a pitcher knowing you can rely on the rest of your team out there in the field. We've seen it at every level, MLB, minor leagues, collegiate summer league, where a pitcher may be having a great day, but then one hit, one error, one mistake from the infield, from the outfield can totally ruin it. But this team making up and helping Constance when he needs it.
This was a great defensive team in the regular season as well. These Stallions went on stretches where they would only have 4 errors in a 10-game span. Got a little bit ugly down the stretch. Had 8 errors in 4 games. But tonight, looking clean defensively, but only through an inning and a third so far.
And hey, it's hard to go through a whole season without some sort of slide, without a losing streak, without a struggle at the plate. But it's how you pick yourself up afterwards and how you look back on the season as a whole.
I'm talking about picking yourself up. Constance gets Sweeney swinging for out number 2 here in this bottom half of the second. So it seemed like a dangerous inning to start with Biller over at second with nobody out has quickly become a 2-out bottom half of the second with Aiden Gallagher at the dish, the third of these 3 consecutive Hofstra players for Glens Falls.
What could easily be a 4-1 game is a 4-0 game in this inning solely off the fact from that Rodriguez throw out in center.
Gallagher batted just above 100 this past year at Hofstra. His 2 teammates before him both pitch, but he simply plays the outfield. This one looped into shallow left field. There to make the play is Croce for out number 3. Constance gets into a little bit of trouble, but his defense is there to bail him out. We head to the 3rd inning. Stallions still leading 4-0. Stallions leading things 4-0 here in the top half of the 3rd. New pitcher Trent Jenks on the mound for the Dragons. And you look at Neller's line, only pitched 2 innings, ended up letting up 4 runs, all coming in that top half of the second. Really just put himself into trouble with those walks.
It was a really good start to the game. Obviously, Ford got on base through the error, but to start off, he had 2 strikeouts, forced a fly out, was able to pick off a player. Then it just all kind of fell apart in that 2nd inning.
We'll see what Trent Jenks has in store here in the top half of the 3rd. And that was a problem for this Dragons team last year. They would have their pitchers just get blown up, and then it got to the point where they were throwing any arm out there, and it just got ugly fast.
And I touched on this, I believe, in the 1st inning about the importance of pitching. The Dragons are not doing bad at the plate. They're getting on base. They're pulling in some hits. They've yet to score a run. That's a different problem. But when you don't have good pitching to support it, to protect a lead, or to keep a lead from growing like this one has been for the Stallions, it can be really difficult to win games, and it's going to be a really long season if this continues.
Jenks, another guy that comes out of Hofstra. That marks now 4 players that have played tonight that are from the Pride. Jenks also a two-way guy, an outfielder and a pitcher out of Chatham, New Jersey.
See it a lot, these two-way guys in collegiate leagues like this, especially on the Dragons roster. They have a decent amount of two-way guys. This last year had a 5.3 ERA, 3-1 win-loss record, 17 appearances, 18 innings pitched. So definitely a capable pitcher to put out there, perhaps make up for that bad second inning.
That's impressive, too, for a guy who is just a true freshman this past season. Obviously, the 530 is not where you want it to be, but it's a starting point.
And it's hard to be a pitcher as a freshman, especially one that gets used a lot, because it's a lot of nerves. You're in an environment you've never been in before. High school pitching and college pitching are very different in terms of crowd size, in terms of pressure, in terms of competition, where on his high school team he was probably the best pitcher, and now he's just one of 10 pitchers, and he has to prove himself.
Painter flies out to center field to start things here in the top half of the third. Puts him at 1 for 2 for the day. Sanchez to the dish. He had the first RBI of this Stallion season. That coming last inning. Drove home Painter.
And let's just look at all these hits. Single, single, walk, 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 single, single, single. No extra base hits yet. And it's all just been singles and walks. And they've been getting on base, and they've just been able to do it throughout the entire lineup, and they've been able to score.
We'll see if they can do it again. And you look at Jenks, he's a guy who had a .325 average against this past season at Hofstra. That's an ugly swing right there from Sanchez. Puts the count at 1-1. Not much more you could ask for the Stallions to start off this 2025 campaign in Game 1, leading 4-0 here in the top half of the third.
This is a Stallions team, again, just met each other, a lot of them. Head coach isn't here. They have this lineup because they have to have this lineup. They don't have any substitutes. They don't have really any pinch runners, any pinch hitters. But they're producing results because that's what this team came here to do.
Sanchez with 2 bad swings right there in that at-bat as he goes down on strikes. First K of the day for Jenks, and he's retired his first 2 batters he's faced.
You can tell he regretted that swing the second he broke those wrists. If you could take one back, he would take that one back.
Cavazzoni to the dish now. Had a sac fly last inning, which brought home the Stallions' second run of the inning. Takes a first pitch ball in the dirt.
And this is how important it is to keep getting on base like the Stallions have been, because when you have a hit that's not so great, that's only going to be a fly out to right field, at least you can capitalize, at least you can bring in a run.
The 1-0. Misses down low. 2-0 count. 2 outs. Top half of the third. Stallions plating all 4 of their runs in the top half of the second. Off speed straight down the middle. Puts it at 2-1.
Jenks already a good job coming out onto the mound. Down 4 runs, but it hasn't affected him. Already put 2 batters down. It's a 3-1 count now, so we'll see what happens. But if he can make this a 1-2-3 inning, that is huge for the Dragons.
They need that badly. And the Dragons' bats really haven't had a chance to get going. In that bottom half of the second, they had 2 runners over at second base. One nabbed at home, and then the other never got over to third. 3-1 pitch. Misses upstairs. So Cavazzoni will take first base. And that's the 4th walk of this game for the Stallions. They've been very disciplined at the dish tonight.
Yes, they have been. Only 3 strikeouts. They've gone through the lineup. Everybody's had a couple at-bats now. Or everybody's about to have a couple at-bats, and after Blanco after Blanco heads to the plate. But they have been very smart with their swings and their pitch selections.
Blanco, like you mentioned, had a single, did come around to score in the top half of the second. First pitch misses down low for ball 1.
I don't know what's better, that little evening summer baseball or those hot dogs that smell really good from the
Dragon Dogs, that's a specialty here at Eastfield. I did try one at the end of last season, actually. Runner goes over to second. Throw is not going to be in time. That one trickles into the outfield. But there to back it up is Kay Pierce. His time's on the field. That'll be a stolen base for Cavazzoni. As we see head coach of the Dragons trot out just to give a check.
Stallions have looked very well-rounded. Their base stealing looks like it could be something to work on going into the future, especially when you start facing teams with catchers that have really great arms, that have really great eyes. So far, a really good showing, but definitely something you probably want to work on the offensive end.
And Rod Kelder was telling us before the game, this roster has fast guys, and we are going to let them run. That's just what summer baseball is. These guys are here to show it, and the Stallions are going to encourage that green light.
That's the joy of summer baseball. You're testing stuff out. You're riskier than maybe you would be during the collegiate regular season, and you're taking chances, and that's a good thing because that's what helps players improve. That's what helps them develop, and that's what helps them know what their limit is on the field and what kind of player they can be.
Runner standing at second is Cavazzoni. Blanco at the dish. Loops one over to the first base side. Chasing it is Biller. He's not able to make the play. Counts 2-2. Just to go back to your Dome Dog comment, not Dome Dog, excuse me. I got Syracuse on the brain, which is where I go to school. We're thinking Dragon Dog. Same type of thing.
What makes it a Dragon Dog? Is it a little spicy?
No, I tried it at the end of last season. In actually our final game of the regular season, it was just a normal hot dog. I was severely underwhelmed. Maybe they've changed it in the offseason here at Eastfield, but Dragon Dog's just a regular hot dog. Sweetie over to first in time, and the Dragons put together an inning where they don't get a 1-2-3, but they get a 1-2-3-4. We head to the bottom of the third. Stallions still leading 4-0.
More and more of a good idea for us to do a food.
I agree.
Welcome back to the bottom half of the third. Stallions leading 4-0. Scored all 4 of their runs in the top half of the second. Coming to the dish for the Dragons is their 8, 9, and 10-hole hitters. Glens Falls playing something unique, which you can do in this PGCBL season, having that extra hitter in there, so they're actually batting 10 players instead of 9.
This is my first season in this league, having the chance to broadcast, so I was a little caught off guard when I saw that EH on the order, but could this give the spark they need?
Enrique Enrique Diaz, the extra hitter tonight, he will start things off here in the bottom half of the third, takes a first pitch ball. And Diaz, straight out of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, did not play at Dreersburg State Community College this past season. He'll take a strike. It's 1-1.
Probably not easy traveling this far north. Totally different environment, but something you got to do if you want to keep moving up in the baseball world.
Chop to third. That's going to be a tough play over there for Comiskey. He can't make it. And in Diaz's first at bat as a Dragon, he has himself a single. Man on here with nobody out in the bottom of the third.
It's just a difficult play. Just got on top of that ball enough to slow roll it towards the third baseman and just able to beat out the throw.
Just the second hit of the ball game here for the Dragons in the bottom of the third. Will be Ryan Jones, the catcher, next to the dish. Pops that one foul. And Jones from UMass Dartmouth didn't have a great season this past year, had a 137 batting average. But you go back to 2024 where it was a smaller sample size, only appeared in 7 games, went 6 for 10 with a 600 batting average. So some of that potential is there, but in a more increased role this year over at UMass Dartmouth, just couldn't really find his footing.
This is something we see with a lot of players. They have a first season where they don't get a lot of at-bats, but they produce some hits, and then the next season it's not as good when they get more of an opportunity. What makes the great players great and what separates the levels of players is how can you recover? How can you improve your game? What do you need to fix? Are you open-minded enough to fix something that needs to be adjusted?
That one's in there for strike 3, and Constance has got himself his third K of the day. First backward strikeout, and there's one out here in the bottom of the third. So now it'll be the center fielder, Trevor Strode, to the dish. And he's the one we highlighted in our Stallions pregame show. One of the best bats on this lineup, batted .254 this past year at Fairleigh Dickinson, but pops out to short to Croce. And there's 2 quick outs here at the bottom of the third.
I was about to hype Travis up, but made his at-bat a little too quick. Couldn't really talk about him. Now he's back to the dugout, but, you know, he comes in this game, started 48 games at Fairleigh Dickinson, .250 batting average, 2 home runs. Definitely a solid hitter. Definitely a bat that could be really important for this team down the line.
Top of the order here for the Dragons. Cody Meyer in the box for the second time today. Went down swinging in his first at-bat. And Meyer is really the spark plug of this entire Dragons offense. A .297 hitter in college this past season and batted .275 with this Dragons team. And that's another big thing that we didn't really touch upon the first time he came up to the dish. It's so important for both the Stallions and the Dragons to have a couple of guys that were here last season, that know this league, that know the team, and can really make everyone feel comfortable around them. Runner goes down to second, throw is offline, and that'll be a stolen base for Diaz.
You know, it doesn't always matter how good of a player you are. If you're unfamiliar with the stadium, you're playing there for the first time, you're playing with coaches for the first time, other players for the first time, it's an adjustment, and that can affect your game. So to have experience on the roster, to have guys who have been there before, it's important.
2-1 count. Diaz in scoring position over at second. The breaking ball misses inside, and the count goes to 3-1. Last time Dragons had a runner over at second, a beautiful play in center field by Rodriguez. Nabbed Biller at home plate. The pitch. Smack to left field. If that one stays fair, it is gone, and that one is out of here. First home run of the PGCBL season for Cody Meyer, and the Dragons are on the board. It's 4-2.
That's what makes a player like Meyer so dangerous with that batting average. He had 5 home runs during the collegiate season, just had his first home run of the summer season, And just like that, the Dragons are back in this game.
So Varaka will come to the dish, walked and then got caught stealing in the top half, or bottom half of the first, excuse me. Constance, a 3.30 ERA last year with the Stallions, so you were kind of expecting it to come at some point. Didn't really know when. He got in some hot water last inning, and then he leaves one hanging to Meyer, and he smacks it to left field. That's about 330 down the left field line. So that one was hit a long ways.
It's 330 over there, that fence, but that ball, I think, had an extra 15 yards on it because he got all of that one.
No doubt about it. 4-2 here in the bottom half of the third.
I'm sorry.
This one's looped into shallow right field. Hoppins Seifkins on it. And he grabs it for out number 3. Dragons on the board here in the bottom half of the third. We got a game on our hands. It's 4-2. Henry Hipschman will have you with play-by-play in the top half of the fourth when we come back here on the Stallions YouTube network.
Welcome back for some more Stallions baseball. Cody Meyer for the Dragons just went yard for a 2-run home run to make this a 4-2 game. Puts the Dragons back in this competition a little more. Dan, what do they need to do here in this inning to come out with no more runs given up to the Stallions?
Yeah, it really just comes down to the pitching, and they've hurt themselves a lot so far in this game, Henry. I mean, they have given up 4 walks on the day, which is not ideal, but listen, at the end of the day, the Dragons needed that one to make this a 4-2 ball game. And Cody Meyer has a lot of pop in his bat, but we know the Stallions can respond in an instant, and we'll see if Luis Rodriguez can do just that.
Luis Rodriguez bunts towards the left side. Can he beat out the throw? And showing off the speed, Rodriguez with a leadoff bunt single to get to first. That'll send up Justin Ford.
And that's just what we were talking about, Henry. That speed, you were talking about it last time he was up. Lay down the bunt. He does. That time legs it out for a single, and he's 2 for 3 on the evening.
Speed that this team is definitely looking to utilize. Ford, first at-bat, got on base to an error. Second at-bat, earned it on his own accord, a single. Got all the way to third before the inning came to an end. He was left on and looking for another chance right here. Here's the pitch. A bit low, going to be called for a ball, 1-0.
Ford's been showing it off a little bit today. Reached on that E6 on the first, but stole a base, and then had some nice contact to get out on the base pass last time up.
Pick-off attempt towards Rodriguez. They got him in the first inning. He let off a little too far, but he learned his lesson, and he got back in time. And now they overthrow the ball, and Rodriguez is going to take second. He'll stretch for third, and the throw is going to be nowhere close. Rodriguez taking third with ease. A bad throw from the Dragons, and the mistakes starting to show their head again.
And you look at the dimensions of this field, and the foul territory is so wide that if you do make a throwing error, it's so easy to get over to third base, and Rodriguez showing that with his speed just right there.
The Dragons, the errors really hurting them, but can they handle it on the mound? And Ford nearly hit, has to duck down. That'll be called for ball 2.
And Ford's a disciplined guy. He's not going to swing at anything he doesn't like.
And the 2-0 pitch. Bit low, 3-0, so Jenks finds himself behind in the count against one of the Stallions' better hitters. Ford looking to get on base for the 3rd time today, and they risk putting batters on the corners, Dan.
Jenks was working so efficiently in that top half of the 3rd, having some trouble here in the 4th.
And unable to find the zone, he'll send Ford to first with a walk. That sends up the shortstop, Nick Crocet, who is 1 for 2 on the day. He's actually 0 for 1 on the day. He walked in the 2nd inning. He was also left on base. Part of that electric 2nd inning that we saw from the Stallions, where basically the entire lineup got on base, and the one player who didn't, sac fly.
And we'll see how Jenks works out of this now, runners at the corners with nobody out. That overthrow is really going to come back to hurt them. Dragons already with 2 errors in this game. That's been a problem for them so far.
Pitch. Crocet able to get a piece of it, sends it well foul. He'll stay at the plate. His count goes to 0-2, so now behind, trying to dig himself out of a bit of a hole.
And if you're Jenks, you need this one badly.
Jenks loads, fires, fouls it away. He's going to take away the steal attempt from Ford. He'll trot back to first. Now, if you're Crocet, what kind of pitch are you looking for to bring home Rodriguez?
You just got to protect here. You got to expand the zone, choke up on that bat a little bit. It's 0-2. I do like that steal call there for Ford. Nobody out. If the throw goes down, a speedy Rodriguez sitting on 3rd that can take home plate.
We've seen that steal call made throughout the night for the Stallions. As Jenks throws, bouncer to first. They're going to try and make the play at 2nd. And Ford will be safe. Rodriguez will be brought in for a run while Crocet out. But the RBI.
He gets the RBI on the fielder's choice right there. And it was a little bit of an interesting play. It seemed like Biller got caught up with it, went on his back foot there at first base, so couldn't make the throw down to home plate. Almost got Ford there at 2nd, and it totally would have been worth it if they had gotten the double play. But now Ford's still sitting over there at 2nd with 1 out.
And you got to wonder a little bit why you're not throwing home in that situation. Now, Travis Habensiefken at the plate. He's 0 for 1 with a walk in the 2nd inning. He fouled out to first base. We saw a great play made over at first by Cameron Biller in the 1st for the final out of the inning. He now starts with a 1-0 count. Good contact past the glove of the shortstop. A single. Ford will get sent home. Another run for the Stallions. It's a 6-2 lead.
Henry, did you see that ball? That was smoked through the hole. I mean, you go over there to Carr Piers, and he was kind of scared of that one. It was going so fast to him. He put the glove down, but kind of didn't know way it goes straight through him. And the Stallions put the lead back up to 4.
Something they try to teach you in Little League. You always got to keep that eye on the ball. As Casey Kaminsky now stepping up to the batter's box. First pitch drips in for a strike, 0-1. Habensiefken sitting at first. He'll take the RBI. And it wasn't an easy shot, but definitely a play. You have to at least get in front of the ball there.
Knock it down. Just prevent Ford from scoring there. But at this point, the damage is done. Now reset. Double plays in order here if you're the Dragons.
Inside pitch sends it to a 1-1 count. Only 1 down for the Stallions. Here's the pitch from Jenks. Swing, contact, straight to first. They're going to turn towards 2nd. Tag 1. and it will be safe at first for Kaminsky. They take out the lead runner. Now 2 down.
That should go down as another error. I know it'll go down as the fielder's choice, but the Dragons should not still be on the field playing defense right now. That was a tailor-made double play, and they could not turn it.
Now that's 2 hits straight to the first baseman.
That's another one, too, where if you're Biller, you have the time to step on first before going to second. I feel like he rushed that one a little bit.
Stepping out of the box is Painter, the lefty first baseman, who had a single in the second inning and also a run on the day. A hit into right field could be big for Kaminsky. The pitch bounces wild and into the stands, and a free base for Kaminsky as he takes second. He wanted to stretch it into a run for third, but he'll head back.
And that's another thing, too. Here at East Field, the plate is, and the general vicinity around home plate is especially bouncy. And you'll see that tomorrow as well when we travel up to Shuttleworth Park. If your catcher doesn't block the ball, there's a good chance that it goes out of play. And it's been breaking the Stallions' way so far, but either way, it can really hurt a squad. Just with unfortunate luck.
For a team that made minimal errors last year, though, could also prove advantageous. The 1-1. Painter looked like he thought about it, held up, let the ball travel outside the box. 2-1 count. 2 down, man on second. Jenks trying to stop the bleeding for the Dragons. Giving up 2 runs in this inning so far as he sends it to a 3-1 count. Now the Dragons, they've had these off and on innings so far throughout the game. It's looking like a problem of consistency.
You look at the scoreboard. 0 in the first, 4 in the second, 0 in the third, 2 here in the fourth.
Swings, good contact, base hit out to center field. One runner trying to go home. Will he get there in time? Yes, he will. And an RBI single for Painter as he sits at first.
Just another example of not trying to do too much. And that makes it very easy for Comiskey to come on home after taking second on the dead ball. And now the Stallions lead it by 5. And Henry in the PGCBL, you go up by 12 after 5 innings. That's a mercy rule. You're up by 10 after 7, and the game's over as well. So that's probably what's in their head right now.
Another batter with a hit today. Logan Sanchez steps up. He's 1 for 2. Struck out in his last at-bat, but an RBI single in the second, part of that flurry of offense we saw from really the whole Stallions offense. 1-0 count. Jenks, the chopper goes foul. It's actually wrangled in by Justin Ford. Nice bare hand out of the dugout.
Making plays even when he's not on the field.
Painter sits at first. Sanchez with the 1-1 count, waits patiently. Here's the pitch. Another chopper pulled in by the third baseman, thrown, and with plenty of time. That'll be the third out of the inning. 3 runs scored for the Stallions. They jump up ahead 7-2 as little summer league baseball continues here at East Field. And welcome back for the bottom of the fourth inning. It has been all Stallions so far in this 2025 season opener. They've looked pretty good on offense. They've looked pretty good on defense. Really just a well-rounded outing for this team.
And you speak of outings, Derek Constance has been good on the mound outside of that 2-run home run given up to Cody Meyer with 2 outs in the bottom half of the third. Let him go as long as you want here. He hasn't thrown that many pitches. He's been solid so far. And outside of that really one monster contact there by Meyer, it's been nothing really bad for him.
Constance 3 strikeouts through 4 innings, but it's been the way he's been getting outs, not through his pitching. That has been impressive. Flyouts, groundouts, a pickoff, caught stealing, made the play at home. It's just been a really good team effort for this team. 0-1 count as Constance throws his first pitch. He's facing Joe Carpiers, the shortstop, who is 0 for 1 on the day. Only 1 at-bat for Carpiers so far. He grounded into short in the first inning and trying to get something going for the Dragons.
They need a spark. I mean, you're getting to the point in the game where you can kind of feel down. You look at the scoreboard, you think it's out of reach. Just need to keep the energy high here. This one is a 5-run game, but we still have 6 innings left to go.
1-2 count. Constance looking for the strikeout. Contact made instead. Gets past the third baseman, reeled in by short. And Carpiers is going to be given the single, but a nice defensive play to stop anything more from Nick Crocet over there at shortstop.
Crocet with a nice diving grab. Comiskey missed it originally. He had a chance to get him at first, but once it got over to Crocet, nice job just eating that one and not forcing the throw, which could have led to a bad error.
1 aboard for the Dragons. That'll send up first baseman Cameron Biller. He's been on base, but got there due to an error, a bad throw over there from second. As first pitch bit inside, going to be called for a ball. We just saw a throw from Gabe Cavazzoni in the first that was off the mark, went well past first base and gave him a chance to get out there. Biller fouls one away, 1-1.
Now back-to-back innings for the Dragons where they've had that runner start on first.
Little slow swing, pops it out to center. Can the catch be made? It is. That'll send Carpiers back to first, 1 down for the Dragons.
You look at Rodriguez. He's been great out there in center field all night. Had that beautiful play at home plate earlier in this game. But you want to talk about someone that's going to be a core part of this team. That's going to be Rodriguez out there in center field. We know he has the bat, but he's also shown the glove here in the first game of the season for Saugerties.
Rodriguez, perfect for that center field position, can cover a lot of ground. Steal attempt for second, throw from Blanco, and they got him. That'll be 2 outs for the Dragons, and now that's 2 throws from the Stallions catcher that have resulted in outs at second base.
2 for 3 on the day on catching the runners. It's been a pretty good day behind the dish for Blanco. And this is a guy that we really didn't know much about coming into this game. But you know what I can say now? He's got a strong arm, and he's not afraid to show it.
Now Nick Galileo swings at the first pitch, fouls it back.
I mean, to get 2 out of your first 3 runners caught stealing in your first game, that's pretty impressive.
Those were a couple close calls over there at second.
That one, the last one, I don't know if I fully agree with. Seems like he might have touched the bag first, but Stallions will take it.
Pitch in for the strike. 1-2. Constance looking to end the inning with this next pitch. Loads the 1-2. And Galileo able to stay alive. Count stays the same, fouls it towards the backstop. The Dragons really struggling here. They had a decent third inning, finally able to get some runs on the board, but the Stallions able to just keep tacking on runs. A good sign for Saugerties. And the pitch. Poked out to left field. Will it drop? Yes, it will. A base hit for Galileo. He rounds first, will slow up head back, doesn't want to get too greedy. And another hit and another player aboard, but again, will he be left out there?
You just think back to Carpiers, where he got caught over at second. The Dragons would be set up here. They would have runners at first and second with just one man out. But now, 2 men out for Michael Sweeney, batted .227 on the year. Kind of a tall order.
Swing and a miss at that first pitch, strike one. Knowing that you've been caught stealing, that you got caught going home, do you try and play it a little more conservative now for the rest of the game?
Really depends on what you're trying to do here. If you're the Dragons, first game of the season, still feeling guys out. Who knows what's going to happen necessarily, but they certainly have to be cleaner with their steals going forward, that's for sure.
They've challenged Blanco a couple times, and Blanco has answered. Galileo even count at 1-1, 2 down for the Dragons. The sun almost fully set as the lights have turned on here at the field. Dusk has hit us, and the slow breaking ball going to be off target, brings it to a 2-1 count. Good patience by Sweeney at the plate, the third baseman who's 0 for 1 on the day, strikeout swinging in the second inning. Another off-target pitch, this time high, 3-1 count, and a 2-out opportunity for the Dragons. And they'll send Sweeney to first with a walk. Galileo will take second, and left fielder Aiden Gallagher will step up to the plate. Fly out in his first at-bat in the second inning.
Walk of the day there, Henry, for Constance. So he's been pretty good about not putting himself into trouble, but if you do remember last inning, there were 2 outs on the board, and then Cody Meyer went yard. This could pull the Dragons within 2 with Gallagher at the dish, if he is to go yard.
Dragons have struggled, but they do have power. They do have players that can earn them runs. So far today, it's only been Cody Meyer, but who else can step up for this Glens Falls team? It's no 1 count. Constance, hard contact, bounces off the glove of Constance, rolls near the second base bag, and just bad luck for the Dragons. What looked like could have been a bases-loaded situation instead is going to be an easy tap on second for the 3rd out. That'll send both teams back to the dugout. Still a 7-2 lead here at Eastfield for the Stallions. Stick with us. Welcome back to the top of the fifth. Henry Hipschman and Dan Shalom on the mic. It's been a seesaw of an offense for this Saugerties team. 0 runs in the first, 4 in the second, 0 in the third, 3 in the last inning. So a little more consistency can be seen. What do they need to do to maybe put some more runs on the board, Dan?
Yeah, it's interesting, Henry. We saw last inning, it was really just about putting solid contact on the ball, and they were scoring. In the second inning, where they played those 4 runs to take the 4-0 lead, it was really based off unforced errors. So it'll be interesting to see how things fare. The biggest difference that I've seen between these two sides is just the quality of at-bats. The Stallions are a lot more disciplined. Glens Falls early on was taking long at-bats, and they're really seeing the ball well. Seems like that's changed a little bit here.
Trent Jenks' day on the mound is done. A new pitcher is in, number 27, Jeremy Graham, who is behind the count to start against Gabe Cavazzoni. He has a sac fly in the second, was walked in the third, and then a stolen base. It's an 0-2 count. Swung at, fouled away. Count will stay the same. Cavazzoni, the second baseman, was the one who actually made the error for the Stallions earlier on in the game, a off-the-mark throw, but has been very productive on the bases today, has an RBI, able to get on base once, and looking to continue to do so. Again, 0-2 count. Graham battling his first batter. Here's the pitch, and he'll hit Cavazzoni square on the back, and he'll go to first. And again, just another mistake from this Dragons team, hurting them on the defensive end and just giving the Stallions a free base, something that has been happening throughout the game.
That's the 6th walk of the day, first hit by pitch. But if you want to cite a reason why you're down 5 runs in this game, it has to be the fact that you've allowed 6 free bases. No other way to put it.
I believe it's now 5 or 6 batters they left on base today, so just unable to convert when they are able to get a hit. Not the start Graham was looking for, as he faces Sam Blanco, who's been productive on both sides of the ball. A single in the second inning and a run. He grounded out in his last appearance in the third. But now a man on first as he's at the plate. 1-0 count. Pitch from Graham, low, bit in the dirt, 2-0.
And you look at Jeremy Graham out of Hudson Valley Community College, did not appear this past season. Just seems like now the Dragons are cycling through the arms to see what they've got in store this season. It's only game 1 of 44. There's a long ways to go. So why not test things out, especially when you're trailing by 5?
The Stallions not the only roster that's not fully complete just yet early on in the season. Players will be trickling in and trickling out of the Summer League roster. So there's a lot of turnaround, a lot of time left in the season for these teams to make changes, but not the starts of the year the Dragons have been looking for. Down 5 runs, and another batter is going to be walked as Blanco heads to first. 4 balls in a row.
It's just what we were talking about here, Henry. Walk after walk after walk, and we might see a pitching change here.
Do have a pitcher over there in the bullpen warming up. We'll get you his name if he comes out, but for now it's just a meeting on the mound. 2 aboard for the Stallions. Blanco over there at first and Cavazzoni over there at second. At this point, the Stallions still have to stick with that starting lineup, even up by so many runs, because they don't have anyone else they can put in. Is there anything you think they need to try, anything they need to test out, experiment, as they're going through the rest of this game and have a 5-run lead, a comfortable lead, through 5 innings?
I don't think so. I mean, they've been great so far. For me, at least. You really don't need much more than what you've got. They've been solid. Things have been going well. You're up by 5. And now what really comes into play is you start thinking about that mercy rule that we were talking about. 10 runs after 7, 12 after 5, and they are threatening here in the top half of the 5th.
Luis Rodriguez at the plate, steal attempt for third, and not even going to make an attempt. Another steal attempt for second. A late run by Blanco.
Great example of what's been going wrong for the Dragons of this game. Just a lack of awareness right there. Sure, you let Cavazzoni go over to third, but you can't let Blanco just take second there for free. The ball's sitting right in front of you.
Jones looked like he gave up on the play once he saw Cavazzoni reach with ease. Forgot to check Blanco over there at first as Rodriguez's count goes to 2-0.
This is where things can really get out of hand here, Henry.
Now Rodriguez, he's a dangerous batter to face. He's 2 for 3 on the day, a bunt single, and another single in the first inning. Only one strikeout. High pitch, 3-0.
And now you're one pitch away from leaving the bases loaded with nobody out for Justin Ford.
Justin Ford, perhaps the most dangerous batter on the Stallions roster at the moment, a player we highlighted in the pregame. Was with the Stallions last year, stuck with them this year, and Luis Rodriguez is going to head to first, another walk.
3 straight walks to start this inning for Graham. That's not good. No other way to put it.
Not good at all. Justin Ford, the left fielder, he's been on base in every plate appearance today. He was walked in his last at-bat, had a single in his second, Rishon Air in his first. Now, in this situation, they scored 2 runs earlier just from a bases-loaded situation, and then they walked 2 consecutive batters.
We'll see what the difference is here in this one.
Graham, the pitch, finds the zone, 0-1 count. Best way to get started from Ford, who has shown some good patience at the plate. The entire Stallions roster has. And the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2, and Ford finds himself down 0-2 to begin this at-bat.
To happen in this AB, especially given the way that Graham's been pitching to start this inning.
Yes, Graham has found little success so far against the 3 previous batters, looking for his first strikeout and first out of the game.
Well, there it is.
And he got Ford looking. Ford heading back, head down, a little bit disappointed, and perhaps not the result the Stallions were expecting. 3 straight strikes, and that'll send up Nick Crocet, who has an RBI and a run on the day.
What would you think to happen from your 2-hole hitter there in Justin Ford? And the double plays in order. Dragons can get out of this now with no runs on the board.
Still bases loaded. Finds the zone again. That'll be strike 1. That's 4 strikes in a row from Graham.
He's finding it now. You just need to see one get in the zone, and then you feel good.
And here's the pitch. And again, now 5 in a row, 0-2. So the Stallions perhaps showing a little too much patience, not jumping on any of these pitches. It's Cavazzoni at third, Blanco over at second, and Luis Rodriguez at first. Now the 0-2. Make some contact, slow roller to short. One runner will score at home. They'll make the out at first. Runners on second and third. 2 down, but another run from the Stallions, able to capitalize on the bases loaded. That'll be an RBI for Crocet, his second of the day, but he'll head back to the dugout.
I don't know if I like the play there from Sweeney. I think that you definitely have a chance. You're playing in to at least go home first. Try and stop the run from coming home. He just went straight to first. He didn't even think about throwing anywhere else.
He had any base to throw to in that situation, decided to go to first, take the easy out. 2 down. It's Travis Hobbins-Siefkin now at the plate. He has an RBI today.
He smoked a ball right through the shortstop earlier.
Graham swings on the first pitch, makes good contact, rolls off the foot of the shortstop. 1 runner will score, 2 runners will score. Hobbins-Siefkin will sit at first, and not exactly sure what's going on over there at the shortstop position for the Dragons.
It's kind of like a broadcaster's jinx out of me right there. And Carpiers, another error for him. That one just goes off the leather. And the way that this ballpark is kind of kept, there's some places for the ball to take weird bounces, that being one of them. Right when it went off the glove of Carpiers over at short, just went about 15 feet into the air.
The new batter's Kaminsky. And a wild pitch. Haben Siefkin going to go to second. Easy stolen base, another for the Stallions. Now, I think that was pretty clearly an error at short. That ball should at least have been knocked down, but just bouncing off the foot, kind of a
could have saved at least a run there.
Kind of a careless play. 1-0 count. Man at second. And Graham unable to find the zone. Improve the count to 2-0 for Kaminsky. Now the Stallions a 10-2 lead here through 5 innings. As Graham loads and fires. Makes the count 2-1. This was an explosive offense last year. Dan, you were here the whole season. You got to watch it happen. Are you seeing a lot of the same patterns from last year play out today?
Without a doubt, just taking advantage of the mistakes that Glens Falls is making in this game. They're really shooting themselves in the foot, and you can't do that against a team like the Stallions. They're going to punish you.
Chopper to third, reeled in, thrown to first, plays in time. A nice play to end the inning, but 3 more runs scored for the Stallions will make this a 10-2 game as we head to the bottom of the 5th. And welcome back for the bottom of the 5th inning here for our Socrates Stallions broadcast. We have a new pitcher on the mound after a great day from Derek Constance. It's Jace Van Valkenburg, who is a returner to this Stallions squad, had a very impressive year. Dan, why don't you tell us a little about it?
Yeah, Jace Van Valkenburg is a local kid. His brother, actually, was the #1 recruited player in the state at one point, still in high school, committed to UMiami. But this is a guy that's been around this program before, knows a lot about Saugerties, is a Saugerties native himself, did play this year at Herkimer and was also committed to University of New Haven, at which point he did not play with New Haven, but stuck with Herkimer. Last season with the Stallions, 4-0, 3.42 ERA with 23 2/3 innings pitched. So this is a guy that'll get you outs. He will get you innings. 7 relief appearances, 4 starts. So he knows what this role entails.
A 1-2 count against Enrique Diaz. Going to go to 2-2. Now, 7 relief appearances, 4 starts, 19 strikeouts. You know, it's a very big asset for this team. Here's the pitch. Outside.
We also
Full count.
talked about it before. It's big for the Stallions to have a guy who has been here before, knows the system, is familiar with the team, and can tell others and kind of lead them.
And he will walk his first batter. Diaz will take first. That'll send up the catcher, Ryan Jones. Only the 3rd walk today for the Stallions. Jones is 0 for 1. This is only his 2nd at-bat here in the 5th inning. Struck out looking in the 3rd inning. Van Valkenburg, the pitch high, 1-0.
And you also go back and look at Constas' final line. 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. Got banged up a little bit, but outside of that home run to Meyer at the top of the order, you really couldn't ask for much more from the kid.
Really an impressive showing from Constance. Yes, it is against the Dragons team that struggles a bit offensively, but a really good way to get your season started, especially for a guy who only had 1 start last year. 2-0, Valkenburg, swing and a miss, strike number 1. Now, Van Valkenburg, he was tied 2nd in the division last year with his 4 wins, no losses. Comes into this game where they have a very safe lead, a chance to get his arm warm, see some competition before maybe gets a chance tomorrow. As Jones swings at it, misses, 2-2.
And he's faced that Amsterdam team before in Shuttleworth Park. That is a hostile environment. Here tonight at East Field, not as packed out, a calm type of vibe. Tomorrow, the fans will be loud. They will be proud. It is hard to win at Shuttleworth Park.
And 3 strikes in a row will send Jones back to the dugout. That'll give Valkenburg his first strikeout. Now he's facing center fielder Travis Stroh.
So hard to win at Shuttleworth Park that the Stallions actually went 0-6 there last year.
It's nothing better for a team than home field advantage. Stroh, not a long at bat in his first appearance. First pitch, first swing, and a fly out to shortstop. He's already surpassed that mark, taking the first pitch, 1-0. Make that 2-0. Diaz sits at first with Jones striking out. Stroh at the bottom of this order, but we highlighted him earlier in the game, a .252 batting average. .252 batting average. He started 48 games at Farley Dickinson. 2 home runs, 9 extra base hits, 27 RBIs. As a low and outside pitch is going to make this 3-0.
And again here, Henry, if I'm the Stallions, I'm trying to score as fast as possible next inning. I don't want to spend any extra arms that I have to here at Glens Falls. You probably know you're going to win this game. Need Van Valkenburg
and a wild
to settle
pitch.
down.
That'll send Stroh to the first base, a walk. Van Valkenburg's 2nd walk of the night. Now Cody Meyer, a big bat heading up for the Dragons with 2 on base.
Had that 2-run blast in the bottom half of the 3rd. We know he has the pop in his bat. Van Valkenburg's put himself in some trouble here in this bottom half of the 5th. 2 walks, but again showed that he has the prowess to get out of it with that strikeout earlier in the game.
Van Valkenburg brought in Enrique Diaz in his last at-bat. Diaz the only one able to get on base. A ground ball to short and double play opportunity. And it's good. They get 3 outs. Van Valkenburg out of a sticky situation for his first appearance on the mound this season. Stallions will head back to the dugout and come out of the 5th inning unscathed as we head to the 6th.
As we
Well-
just
Welcome back to the top of the 6th inning. It's been an explosive game so far for the Stallions, and now we'll throw it to Hannah Tampassis for an on-field report.
As we just closed out the bottom of the 5th inning, Derek Constance did change out of his uniform as he did take a hard hit to the hand at the bottom of the 4th. Jace Van Valkenburg did go in and take his position. As we go on, the Stallions lead 10-2, and we're noticing the Glens Falls fans start to lean out in the stadium.
Now, Hannah, I want to ask you, you're monitoring Constance over there. Do you think they just took him out because he pitched 4, or was it because of that injury from your eyes?
It could be a mix of both. Definitely part of the injury since it is only the first game of the whole entire season. I wouldn't see the point in trying to push him through it as we still have so much more to go throughout the season. So definitely I think a smarter move to take him out and more likely save his game.
And Hannah, have we seen any more arms warming up in the bullpen?
So far just Jace Van Valkenburg that went out. Nothing else really warming up as there's not many players in the bullpen right now.
Thank you so much, Hannah. That's Hannah Tampassis with our on-field report. Constance, he took a line drive to the glove. We couldn't tell how significant it affected him, but apparently it was a big decision to take him out of this game, putting Van Valkenburg in. But now here we are at the top of the 6th. Graham still on the mound for the Dragons. His first pitch, a strike. And we have Jack Painter, the first baseman, at the plate. Painter, 2 for 3 on the day, a single, 2 singles, a run, and an RBI. He also flew out to center field in the 3rd inning. He's got a 1-1 count.
I'm interested to see now how aggressive the Stallions get in the top half of the 6th. You know, you're 4 runs away from ending this game in the bottom of the 6th, and 2 more innings away if you score 2 more runs to just ending this game in the 7th. And that's the deal with summer baseball. You want to save those arms as much as possible. So we'll see how aggressive they do get if they get someone on base.
Trying to get Painter to chase outside pitch, brings the count to 2-1, but Graham able to find the zone 2-2 count. Now going back to Constance, you know, it didn't look so bad from up here. We saw him take that on the hand, but we thought his glove might have protected him. But how significant could that be, especially with this 3-game stretch they had this whole weekend?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, for me, I really didn't see anything too troubling from that. It didn't seem like he had to come out of the game immediately. So personally, I'm not too worried about it. I think that it's just the fact that you pitch 4 innings and you're leading by 8 runs, so what's the point to risk anything? But definitely something that Hannah can help us to monitor.
Full count, a bouncer to short, scooped up, thrown, and out is made, 1 down for the Stallions. Jack Painter heads back to the dugout as designated hitter Logan Sanchez goes for his 4th appearance at the plate today. Now Sanchez has been pretty productive early on for this team, a RBI single, but then the next 2 at-bats, a strikeout and a ground out. How can he get his bat going again?
Just going to have to see what he's dealt here in this at-bat. Sanchez, a guy with a lot of pop, batted .286 this past season.
First pitch, going to let it fly by for a strike, 0-1. It's now fully dark here at East Field. The lights are at their brightest. The crowd still staying strong. We haven't seen too many people trickle out. As Sanchez thought about it, perhaps should have taken a swing. That went down for a strike, 0-2. Graham, a difficult start on the mound tonight as he throws his first ball to Sanchez. Difficult start on the mound tonight. Gave up 3 runs. Had trouble locating the zone early on. Walked a couple batters. Found some good pitches. Forced a couple strikeouts, but then again went back to a struggle as another pitch high, 2-2. Graham loads, fires, bounces wild. That'll be another ball and a full count for Graham, who started off well with a strikeout, but risked perhaps walking another batter.
Just don't want to fall into the hole here. It's been a lot of walks today for Saugerties, and if you're Glens Falls, just don't want to give away any more free bases.
Graham actually started out his outing tonight by hitting Gabe Cavazzoni, and now he walks Logan Sanchez. That's another free base for the Stallions, and that is the 4th free base that has been given up by Graham.
When he looks back at the tape, that's going to be the biggest thing that he's going to point to, shooting himself on the foot.
Something the whole team really has to look to, because it hasn't just been Graham who has been dealing out walks. Hard cut by Gabe Cavazzoni, speak of the devil, for a foul ball, 0-1. Now again, he was hit by Graham in his last at-bat, and a hard hit it was, got decked kind of straight in the, or square in the back. 0-1. Another hard swing, going to send it to 0-2.
That's going to be a pitch he's going to want back. That was a hanging curveball in the middle of the zone.
1 down for the Stallions. Sanchez sits at first. Graham off and on with his pitches, trying to retire another batter. Here's the pitch. Good contact, base hit out to center field. The stretch from short is going to be fruitless. That'll send Sanchez to second and Cavazzoni to first, with Sam Blanco now in the batter's box.
Blanco's a threat. 1 for 2 in this game, has come around to score twice and also has a walk. That coming in the last inning. We'll see what he has in store here with some runners on the base path. Stallions looking to score. Like we mentioned, Henry, that mercy rule lurking big in their minds.
Blanco, one of those batters, walked by Graham in the last inning. First pitch, a strike. Cavazzoni having himself a pretty good day at the plate, just singled right then. Hit by pitch in his last at-bat, then an RBI sac fly, and then he also had a walk in the second inning, or walk in the third inning. So just finding ways to get to first as the pitch, swing and a miss. That'll be strike number 2.
He was late on that one, wasn't expecting the fastball there.
Sam Blanco, 2 runs today. Trying to pull in his first RBI with Sanchez over there at second. The 0-2. High, 1-2. Now this Dragons crowd, gotta say, sticking with their team in this game so far. Down 8 runs through 6 innings as Graham, inside pitch, going to even up the count at 2-2. After jumping ahead with 2 strikes, he's now evened things up, made things a little bit easier for Blanco, but Blanco still having to protect the plate.
He's fighting back here out of that 0-2 hole.
And a low ball trying to find that bottom right corner, instead outside the zone, brings it a full count. And Blanco battling his way back, started out 0-2, brings it full, and could walk in back-to-back at-bats. Here's the pitch from Graham. Swing and a miss. Blanco will head back to the dugout. That'll send Luis Rodriguez up.
That's got to hurt if you're Blanco. You fight all the way back from 0-2 to push it to a full count, then you go down swinging on the breaking ball, but at least you didn't go down looking.
Rodriguez also walked, was part of that 1-2-3 sequence of batters that were just given first base by Graham. Graham doing a better job of dealing with them here. Able to strike out Blanco, gave up the single to Cavazzoni. But Rodriguez really just all around impressive today.
He's been great. You look at the numbers, 2 for 3, walked in his last at-bat. Defensively as well, has made a couple nice plays out there in center field. Finds himself in an 0-2 hole here, though.
Hard cut. Rodriguez is going to miss 0-2. Sanchez still at second. Cavazzoni still at first. Ball trickles away. That'll give Sanchez an easy third base to take. That'll send Cavazzoni to second. And just more mistakes from this Dragons team giving up free bases.
It's been all self-inflicted wounds in this game for the most part. I mean, you take away those 7 walks, a couple of the wild pitches, and you're probably only looking at like a 2-run game here.
What could have been a strikeout to end the inning instead takes the count to 1-2. Still 2 down for the Stallions. 2 runners now in scoring position. Hard pitch. Not going to be located where Graham wanted it. 2-2. Now, if you're Graham, do you just have to attack Rodriguez at the plate, or do you just keep dancing around?
It's an 8-run game. Throw him a fastball.
2's across the board. 2-2 count, 2 outs. Low pitch makes it a full count. Now Graham just unable to find that strike zone. And we saw this with Blanco as well. Blanco started out with an 0-2 count, fought his way back to a 3-2 count. He ultimately struck out, but a bad pattern forming for Graham. And a chance to end the inning. 3-2. And he got him looking. An extended at bat does not go the Stallions' way. That's another strikeout for Graham.
The umpire there about that. He didn't like that call.
Yes, he is dumbfounded by that call, but that'll send us to the bottom of the 6th. No runs scored, but 2 left on for the Stallions as this 8-run lead continues. Eastfield, where Saugerties Stallions lead by 8 runs. They head back out onto the defensive end. The Dragons will take another stab at the offensive side of the ball as Van Valkenburg still on the mound. Pop ball out to right field, and 1 down for the Dragons right away. That was Neo Savoca with his 2nd flyout of the night.
2nd flyout to right field as well.
Yes, but just not a good game for the Dragons to start the season, but a great game for the Stallions.
It's been good so far. They still got some work to do in this one. And as we now inch towards the 7th inning, Stallions just need to score 2 more runs, given that they don't let up any more runs to end this game.
In the meantime, they're looking for 2 more outs to end this inning with Joe Carpiers at the plate. Carpiers a single in his last at bat, but he was caught stealing. Not the only Dragon to be caught stealing today. It's just been a little bit messy for Glens Falls. It's the first game of the season. These teams getting to know each other. These teammates trying to work together for the first time, get used to how each other play. But so far it has not gone in their favor. Meanwhile, the Stallions have looked very good. Derek Constance, a great day on the mound, but Van Valkenburg took over for him last inning. He had a rough start, was able to get out of the fifth with a double play made by his infield. Perhaps saved the Stallions a couple runs, gave them a better chance at a run rule when they get back on the offensive side of the ball. It's a 3-1 count for Van Valkenburg, and he'll walk another batter.
That's a problem for Van Valkenburg. Third walk and just his sixth batter there, Henry. Defense bailed him out with the double play last time around.
Cameron Biller now stepping up. Got on base due to an error, bad throw from second. He'll start 0-1. And Van Valkenburg has that security blanket that is these 8 runs, but not the start he's looking for after such a great season last year.
Yeah, it just seems like he's not settled in fully yet. And that's going to happen with a lot of these guys. And as we see more Stallions players show up in the coming weeks, there's going to be an adjustment period.
And a hit to short, chance for a double play again. And they make it. Van Valkenburg again having the inning ended on a double play. A little relief from his infield. That'll end the 6th inning as quickly as it started and send us to the top of the 7th, where the Stallions will have a chance at a run rule with 2 more runs. Stick with us here for our broadcast.
Welcome back to Eastfield. Dan Challen with you alongside Henry Hipschman as the Stallions lead at 10-2 here in the top half of the 7th. It's been just a pony onslaught in this one. Starting from the 4th inning, Stallions played at 4. Glens Falls had the 2-run home run from Cody Meyer in the bottom half of the 3rd. And then the Stallions would put up 6 runs between the 4th and the 5th, 3 in each respectively, to give them an 8-run lead here as we enter the latter half of this ball game.
You know, Dan, you were talking about the fact that if the Dragons don't make as many mistakes, if they don't walk as many batters, you know, this is a 2-run game, a 3-run game, whatever it would be. But you also have to consider the fact that without that Myers home run, it's the only thing they have on the board today. This game would be over as they hit another batter, give up another base. Justin Ford heads to first. So the Dragons getting a little bit of luck as well. I mean, maybe not luck with how Myers hits the ball, but again, this game without that home run is over. And it's just been a struggle for Glens Falls in all facets of the game. The offense hasn't really been able to get started. The defense has been making mistakes. When the defense isn't making mistakes, the pitchers have been giving up walks and hit by pitches. So, yes, it's the first game of the year. Yes, they have more players in, but there are some serious problems that need to be addressed, and they need to be addressed soon, or else they're looking for a repeat of last season.
Couldn't agree with you more, Henry. That's the 5th time up for Ford in this game. Kind of crazy that the Stallions lineup is seeing its 5th time through, and we're just in the top half of the 7th. At the dish here for the Stallions, Nick Croce. He'll take a first pitch ball.
You know, we say that, and then there's only 4 Dragons players with 3 at-bats. Everyone else has 2 at this point. It took them 3 innings for everyone to get their first at-bat. It has just been a slow day offensively for Glens Falls as they let that pitch fly by.
And there's really no end in sight right now for them. You give up the leadoff walk to Justin Ford here in the top half of the 7th, and then your mind just starts to think things are going to get worse. What's the deal here? Interesting to see how the Dragons play this one, because they know in the back of their heads that the Stallions played 2 more and they have to score a run in the bottom half of the 7th or else it'll be over.
Not a bad start to the inning if you do want to pull off the run rule. Already a runner on base, and then one of your best batters of the day at the plate.
Give a checkup on Ford. And you mentioned having a good day. Croce, 3 RBIs, 2 of them coming by way of fielder's choices. The other one was a walk with the bases loaded. And that one ends up skimming the top of the guard there for Croce. So that's back-to-back batters hit by the pitch to start the top of the 7th.
I heard that crack. I wasn't sure if it hit the guard or the bat, and there was a foul ball. It was a little
I thought at first it just hit
inconspicuous.
the cork of the bat, but not the case. Stallions in business here. 2 runners on, nobody out. It'll bring up to the dish Travis Hoppen-Seifkin. First pitch in there for a strike. And a good return to Stallions for Hoppen-Seifkin. Has the RBI single in this game. 2 RBIs on the day in total, reached on an E6 in his last at-bat.
One of multiple reached on errors today.
This one's popped up to the right side. Biller is under it, searching for it through the lights. He comes down with the grab for the first out here in the top of the 7th.
And the only consistent defense we've really seen is these foul outs to first base. Biller making these plays that give some good outs to their team, but everywhere else, everything's just a little more rigid, not as well rounded, and it's shooting them in the foot.
Second fly out over to first base in foul territory of the day for Hoppen-Seifkin. Stallions still in business. 2 runners on, 1 out here in the top half of the 7th. Casey Comiskey at the dish. Batted around, actually had 2 plate appearances in that top half of the 2nd, but since then has grounded out in back-to-back ABs. Looking to change his fortune here with a runner in scoring position, that being Ford at 2nd. Chases one down low, and the count's 1-1.
That was a hard cut and a bit of a golf swing coming for that low pitch.
Stallions team showing out offensively in their first game. They've been stellar so far. 10 runs on the board. You really cannot ask for much more in this one early on. Runners will go. That one's fouled off, so they will go back to their bases. Ford slipped on third base as he was chugging over there. Seemed like his ankle twisted in a weird way, but he's walking off and seems to be okay.
Well, he's jogging back to second. I think he's all right. I got to say, good job keeping that left foot on the base. Could have easily been tagged out if that was a valid steal attempt without the foul ball.
That's a 1-2 count. 1 out. Here in the top half of the 7th. Off speed in there for strike 3. And Comiskey did not agree with that one. That's been a general theme for a lot of these Stallions batters here tonight, not agreeing with the umpire's strike zone.
Strikeouts a lot more frequent for the Stallions here in the back half of this game. They start off really well, not taking a lot of bad pitches, protecting the plate, but in these last few innings we've seen a lot more strikeouts. Part of that could be due to the big lead, giving some pitches more of a chance, trying to test out your eyeball a little more, but definitely an uptick in strikeouts near the end.
No doubt about it. Jack Painter at the dish. Painter in this game, 2 for 4, 2 singles with an RBI on the day. That one misses outside for ball 1. Stallions need 2 more runs and to keep the Dragons quiet in the bottom half of the 7th to end this game on the run rule. That one's in there for a strike. It's 1-1. Reinforcements coming for this squad in the next few days. Not even with their head coach tonight, with Colin Martin still being had Weber International wrapping things up down there. This one's fouled off to the left side. And the count will move to 1-2.
Acting head coach Ron Kelder said coming into this game, keys to winning, keys to starting off the season right, were play hard, have fun, and play Stallion baseball. And I definitely think we've seen some good Stallion baseball here tonight.
I would agree with you, Henry, that scoring this amount of runs is the definition of Stallion baseball. I saw it plenty last season. You're getting your first taste of it. They love to put runs on the board and be an aggressive scoring team.
It's interesting, too, because he came into the game saying, you know, it's a little weird playing without the head coach. It's a little different, something the team doesn't want to get used to, obviously. But, you know, they've done pretty well for themselves tonight.
Certainly they have. 10 runs in your first game. You really can't ask for much more.
Starting to get a little fan interaction here at the tail end of this.
Just so popular, Henry. Everyone wants to talk to you.
I think you're part of that too, Dan. Could be our producer, Bella.
That one gets past the catcher, Jones, and runners will move up once again. We saw a similar thing last inning for the Stallions, and it's once again goes back to the fact that Glens Falls has just been playing sloppy baseball here tonight.
Hey, chance to extend this game, though. You have 2 strikes. It is a full count.
Full count, 2 outs, runners at second and third. Misses down low, and the bases are loaded for Logan Sanchez. 3 walks in this inning. And other outside of the walks, there's been a pop out to first and a backwards K. Which again leads me back to the fact that if you eliminate the walks, you're still in this game.
You are in this game. You eliminate all the mistakes, the hit by pitches, everything. It's just one thing after another. You keep shooting yourself in the foot. Eventually, you're going to have nothing to stand on.
Sanchez checks his swing. He did go around 0-1.
Seeing all these future Dragons around us practicing. Maybe it's time for one of them to get a stint on the mound.
In due time. 0-1.
Does remind me.
This is down low. Coming home to steal is Ford, and it's an 11-2 ball game. Another wild pitch where Jones can't back it up. And that, once again, goes to show you the mistakes in this game are costing the Dragons dearly.
It's a long bus ride home for these Stallions, but probably going to be a fun one after this game.
Start off with a win. The challenge is really tomorrow at Shuttleworth Park against the Amsterdam Mohawks. And for those who have followed the Stallions before and know about the difficulty of Amsterdam, it's going to be a battle tomorrow up there at Shuttleworth Park. The Stallions started last year with an 8-7 loss to the Mohawks. They came with a 3-run comeback in the 9th inning where they nearly pulled it off. And then, ironically enough, in the final game of the season, in the East Division final, Saugerties trailed 8-4, mounted a 3-run comeback in the 9th, and fell 8-7. This one gets by, and this time, no doubt about it, that Crozet is going to come home. That pushes it to a 10-run game, and you can hear the Stallions dugout getting a little excited. They know what that means if they can put a 0 on the board in the bottom of the 7th.
And what could possibly be the game-winning run, it seems to only make sense that it came on a pass ball and stolen home plate, because that's just been the story of the game for these Dragons. If you can limit these mistakes, you are a competitor in this league. The Stallions, I think, will turn out to be one of the better teams in the division this year, and you had a chance to keep up with them, but a lot of things went wrong.
There's a strikeout right there for Sanchez, but the damage has been done. Stallions put up 2 in this top half of the 7th. They just need 3 outs to earn their first win of this 2025 season. Find out if they can do it on the other side of this break. Back here at East Field, Stallions 3 outs away from ending things and earning their first win of the 2025 PGCBL season. And Henry, this has been a comprehensive performance from the top down. This one's lined over to third. A nice sliding play over there. Throw to first, not in time, and that one trickles out the back door. Just what the Dragons wanted to continue this game, and just what the Stallions didn't want. There's a runner on second with nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th.
And the Stallions finally facing the negative end of this very wide open field that we have here for Glens Falls. One got past the first baseman, and it's just a free base every time.
So with the runner at second and nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th, Michael Sweeney will come to the dish following the error. That one will go on Comiskey in E5.
I think a little difficult thing about this field, too, is it gets very dark. These lights are bright, but there are some patches where it could be a little bit harder to see, especially in these games that start trickling into these later innings. So it's a little tough environment to play in.
Sweeney so far today, 0 for 1, a strikeout and a walk. He takes a ball high. No movement out there in the Stallions' pen. They're going to let Van Valkenburg finish this one out. If the Stallions are to hold Glens Falls to a 0 here in the bottom of the 7th.
And there'd be no reason to bring in a new pitcher. Why waste more pitches on another arm? Why tire someone out when you have a long weekend ahead of you, when you have bigger competition ahead of you? So keeping Van Valkenburg out there, seeing how he can finish this, especially because he's struggled a little bit. He's had to be bailed out by his defense. I want to see if he can take an inning into his own hands.
Well, there it is. That's a start. That's a strikeout for Van Valkenburg. Gets Sweeney looking, his second K of the day.
That's right.
Aiden Gallagher up to the dish now. It's like you predicted that one there, Henry. Put it into existence, and it came true. This one's lined over to short. They'll play it at third. He's out. What a play right there. Croce over to Kaminsky, and the Glens Falls fans not happy with that call. And I'll tell you one thing, Galileo's still standing there on third base. He's not leaving.
I think the Stallions might have got away with one there. I don't know if I would have called that out. I don't know if I would have made that throw to third instead of tried it for first. I mean, I know Nick Croce was facing that way. It's a lot easier to throw, of course, where the body is facing. He was kind of deep in his shortstop position, but the Dragons, an unfavorable call, an unfortunate call, and perhaps the wrong call.
And I don't know, maybe the umpire just wants to go home? I mean, could that just be it for, I mean, who knows, right? That one's in there for a strike at the knees.
We do know he might want to hurry back to his car after this. I don't know if he wants to face any Dragons fans after this game.
It's an 0-2 count. Glens Falls is down to their final strike of the ball game. Enrique Diaz at the dish runner will go. This one's fouled back. He stays alive. Stallions a strike away from their first win of 2025 here in Glens Falls. A big showdown waiting tomorrow in Amsterdam. We need to get things done here tonight. Van Valkenburg comes set. Now deals. Fouled off to the right side, and the count stays 0-2. Diaz putting up a fight.
They just called the last call for concession stand, so if you're trying to get that Dragon dog, Dan, this might be the time.
Van Valkenburg deals. That one misses down at the knees. I know our producer, Bella Holleran, wants one of those Dragon dogs. I think she might have to wait till the next time we're here, though, to get one. It's a 12-2 game, 0-2 count. Van Valkenburg deals. This one's grounded over to third base. Comiskey boots it, throws to first late, and the Dragons stay alive.
You know, when you have a 10-run lead like this, you're about to end the game. We're seeing the Stallions get a little sloppy than if this was a 1-run or a 2-run game. They might have fallen asleep at the wheel a little bit. They have to kind of, you know, wake themselves up, douse a little water on their faces, and end this game.
That's the second error of this inning on Comiskey, as he got tagged with that one earlier when he was thrown over to first. Ryan Jones, the catcher, to the dishes. 0 for 2 today. Gone down on strikes both times, one time looking, one time swinging. One of those strikeouts coming to Van Valkenburg in his first inning of work, that being in the 5th. It's an 0-1 count. 2 outs here at East Field. The pitch misses upstairs. It's 1-1. And I can tell you one thing, interim head coach Ron Kelder, he's not going to be happy if a run comes across to score here, and the Stallions have to go back out there for the 8th.
I don't think a lot of players are going to be happy, especially when you have a long weekend ahead of you. You want to get as much rest as you can. You don't want to play any more than you have to. You don't want to risk any injuries, especially early on in the season. So, again, the Stallions just got to kind of take this game back and finish it.
One pitch away from the first win of 2025. That one misses just high at the top of the zone. It's 2-2, and a lot of the fans here at East Field thought that was strike 3. It's a 2-2 count. 2 out, 2 on. Here in the bottom of the 7th, Van Valkenburg deals. That one misses upstairs, and the count goes full. Going over to third on that play is Galileo, so he will be over there at third base. Now with runners at the corners, a single will score, run, and continue this game. Full count, 2 outs, the pitch. Strike 3, he got him. Van Valkenburg delivers the Stallions their first win of 2025. Saugerties cruises to victory over Glens Falls, 12-2, the final.
Got a little sloppy at the end of that game, but overall a good showing, a good way to start this season, and the Stallions are looking like they're going to be pretty electric for the rest of this summer.
Saugerties cruises to victory, a 12-2 win here tonight over the Glens Falls Dragons. We will be back with you tomorrow night at Shuttleworth Park. That is a 6:45 p.m. start. We'll have you with a 6:30 pregame right here on the Stallions YouTube channel. For our producer, Bella Holleran, Hannah Tempasis, and my partner, Henry Hipschman, Dan Schaum saying goodnight from Eastfield here in Glens Falls. We'll see you tomorrow night.